Welcome back, attractive and well-educated watchers, to a thing. We're to a thing on our channel here. We're doing this first time, having a conversation with a believer. This is super awkward. It's our first time doing this. I hope everybody likes this kind of stuff. It's been getting kind of popular lately. So, feel free to introduce yourself, Chris.
Hello, my name is Chris, the Farseer on Discord of all things. I don't want to say my full name. I'm a believer. I've been a believer for 1 year. I don't claim to be a theologian or anything like that. I'm just your average Joe, looking for truth and just trying to live life authentically to the best of my human capabilities. With or without faith, that's just what I'm trying to do. Hi.
Hell yeah. You know, that's one of the things that we kind of thought was cool about you. For context, everybody, Chris started watching our 40K content over on the Explorers channel, was it, right?
Yeah, 40K, yeah. I'm a nerd for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So he started watching it, and then he rolled on into our Cosmic Hangout server, our main Discord server, and we kind of talked since then, and it was a few weeks ago we talked about politics because Chris was a Trump voter, and we kind of bold to say we think we talked you out of the Republican position at some point toward the more progressive position? ?
You gave strong evidence for it, and
right.
And what's it called? And by the way, vote for them for president. They're gonna be going for president. and be sure to check out their Discord, support.
For the record, we did not tell him to say that.
Oh yeah, no. I said that of my own volition. Do you support your creators? It's hard here in America.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had some good talk, and one of the things you really stressed in that talk was that you wanted to be intellectually honest. You wanted to keep yourself. You were an open mind. You weren't. And we noticed that. A lot of people say that, but we actually noticed that. We thought you were like really into it. We thought you were really honest. We thought you were really attentive, and the conversation was very good, we think. And that's why we offered, we ended up talking a little bit about Christianity because, that stuff is politics. That I'd probably stay in the politics channel a little more. We ended up talking about Christianity. It got a little heavy there for a second, and you were kind of like, hey man, it's been a lot today. Let's talk about this later. And we were like, hey, would you want to talk about this in front of Mike? And you were like, yeah. And so we missed our last appointment because we both forgot it was happening. But now we're here because we're both free, and it's great. So Chris, before we go on, what? You're a Christian, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm a Christian for 1 year, Orthodox leaning, but I'm not a catechumen or all that. I'm still like a like novice and all that.
Sure. When we were talking last time, in the politics talk we aforementioned, you mentioned that you were willing to admit that there was a lot of like Christian propaganda in your life. Has that only been for a year? Has that been going on for your whole life, or?
I would say majority of my life. I don't want to say propaganda, but I would say it was a big influence because I was going to
a huge part of the culture. Yeah. Well, you're a fellow American. There's Christianity's a huge part of the culture here. So that's
the American quote. The American quote-unquote dream.
It's different for everybody, right? But you say you've only been believing for a year. How exactly do you define that, if you don't mind our asking?
For me, originally before I got serious, that means reading scripture, holding as an authority, reading the church fathers, and and just trying to live a holy life according to what is written or what was revealed by the apostles and the church fathers, and that's what I believe humbly.
And the Bible, right?
In the Bible, because they made the Bible.
Do you believe that the Bible is is like absolutely true, like a literal document that actually happened and was written by God, or do you believe that it's more like a book of metaphors and fables and stuff that people can follow?
I would I have to say for me I believe it is the truth. To say that would be again from the church fathers kind of be heretical, or that wouldn't be authentically telling the truth. Some people, maybe either secular or maybe some Christians, shockingly speaking, would say, "Oh, it's fables," but they claim to be Christian, and it's kind of saying, "Hey, I like it's okay. I like the color blue, but you don't never saw the color blue or something like that."
So
That's what I mean.
so are you saying that the other Christians are not real Christians and you are a real Christian?
I would say they are believing in a falsehood, saying or something that's not true.
Well, sorry, we didn't say that we talked about this before the video, so to give the audience context, we are an atheist, we are a fairly strong atheist, and we are an anti-Abrahamic. So we would say that you are believing in a falsehood. You are believing in something that is not true. How would you address that? In believing in the Bible.
For me, I had an encounter with God. At least for me, because I believe there is a spiritual realm, or at least for me, because by a few reasons. You can say near-death experiences or whatever mumbo jumbo.
Slow down. That's like a second thing. First of all, you said you had an encounter. Well, let's just take it one at a time. If you don't mind, we don't want to get lost in this. You had an encounter with God. You said. Let's start with that one. Because near-death experiences is a very different thing. They're actually highly studied. But let's start with your encounter with God. Let's talk about that. Well,
for me, it came in different seasons. Like I'm just in short bursts. For one, when I was at a low point, when I was like really despair and very numb in the heart, I cried out with despair, Jesus 6 times, and I felt a peace that entered my heart. At least for me, that I'm led to believe that was God filling my heart. Another encounter was I casted out demons out of a person before, meaning I've seen the demonic on that side of the spectrum, and I prayed, laid hands on someone, they got healed miraculously.
okay,
those are the miracles I've seen as a person that led me to that. But
so we're gonna stop you there. Just because you've got a lot here, we want to digest this a little bit. That's we feel like you've presented plenty of no, that's totally fine. We feel like you presented plenty of claims to stand up and say why you believe these things. So we do want to question some of those claims. First of all, what about Krishna?
Krishna? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, absolutely. So Paul McCartney and John Lennon. John Lennon specifically, we believe Paul McCartney was with him when he said this and was nodding along. Paul McCartney of the Beatles and John Lennon of the Beatles, we believe John Lennon once said, Krishna consciousness is real. You can, Krishna appears before you. You can talk to him, you can party with him, you can hug him and stuff like that. And that he will come before you. Krishna consciousness is a tangible thing. So it's clear that other people have seen Krishna, and you would not accept that Krishna exists, correct?
Repeat that. Cut out for a second.
Sorry. You would not admit that Krishna exists, right? You would not accept that. You believe in your god, not the Hindu gods, right?
Yeah, I would believe it was a demonic spirit.
But the Hindus would believe that you are being are being fooled by some sort of low spirit. So we're an atheist over here, and we're looking at one Christian saying, no, my God is the real God. You're being fooled by a demonic spirit. I know that my God is the real God because I have talked to my God. I have banished demons and so on. Meanwhile, the Hindu is saying to us, the atheist, no, he's wrong. I have spoken to my God. I have spoken to Krishna. He has been before me. I have defeated demons. I have cast them out. He is being fooled by a negative spirit. How can we, the atheist, tell which one of you is true? Or is it probably better to assume that neither of you is correct? Because we haven't seen any of this.
In my own personal opinion, I'll let you be the judge of it, but I would rather you just... it just depends on the temperament of the person. Some people make
it doesn't depend on... we're going to have to cut you off there. We're sorry, Chris. It doesn't matter. We care about what's true. We don't care about the temperament. We don't care about the emotions that are going on here. We want to know if there is a God, if that God is worthy of worship, what that God's powers are, what that God does, how we can prove to ourselves that God is. Now, there are two people in front of us making identical claims. Both of you have experienced your God. Both of you have fought demons. Both of you have been in personal communion with your God. Both of you have healed people, allegedly. We haven't seen this, so we don't know. It's just a claim to us. But both of you have claimed all of this stuff, and they're functionally identical claims. The only difference is that you have seen the Abrahamic God, who we don't believe in, and this Hindu has seen a Hindu God who we also don't believe in. So the bar is pretty high here. We're just asking, like, why should we believe your experience over that experience? And if you consider those, if you leave it up to us, we're just going to choose to believe in neither because we don't have any evidence of either one.
Well, me personally, I would just let you choose or let you make your own choice on the matter.
We're sorry to say, but that's not what Jesus says.
Hold on, I was going to say something else.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I would leave it to your own choice because, or you could just see what evidence, like look into the facts yourself on the matter, because again, if I say, I had this personal experience, but it can't be measured by history or evidence,
right? We don't. Eyewitnesses. Absolutely, because we can't see your experience. It would need to be some kind of public experience that was, otherwise not falsified, but would be falsifiable, of course.
Yeah, exactly, because if you say, I had a personal experience, it wouldn't hold up. That's like saying to the judge, listen, I had this thing happen to me, but there's no eyewitnesses. So it's kind of like, how are you supposed to judge that if you're relying it? It would seem like a delusion more than anything.
Right. And you've also said, so you see why we can't really take your anecdote as evidence, because the plural of anecdote is not evidence, and we weren't there for your experiences. We're not trying to say, your experiences didn't happen. We think that's extremely legitimate. Whatever happened, it was your experience. We fully believe that. We support that. We acknowledge that. But was your experience reflecting reality? That we don't know. And we're kind of asking you, like, is there any way that we personally can back that up? If not, maybe we should just move on to the next reason to be a believer, because right now we're not really buying it.
I would say let's just move it to the next topic, because it's personal for me.
So all we're gonna say is that we're not convinced by personal stuff, because there's 8 billion people out there. The worst thing for Christianity is there's over 40,000 denominations of Christianity, and basically none of them agree. So, as an atheist, as somebody who's not part of the faith, we're really stuck in an impasse here, being like, it's just a bunch of people saying they're right, and what are we supposed to believe here? So you believe the Bible is true? Well, that's one that we really want to get on. We've been building this list for years, but you believe that the Bible is true, right?
In my own limited and humble experience, yes.
So it is literally true. Like, the words of the Bible actually happened.
I believe, as a person, as in me, in my own experience, I came to believe, based on what I experienced, and maybe some historical accounts, that I think the Bible is true.
And actually happened all the way through.
Yeah, I'm led to believe that.
So you're a young Earth creationist, or
It's more of, I believe that a guy named Jesus Christ of Nazareth was a real person, as in he did walk the earth.
well, we think the idea that a man named Jesus of Nazareth existing is kind of without dispute. That would be like saying that a man named Fred from New York exists. Like, definitely that happened, but do you believe that the Bible, the book, the Bible of 56 books or whatever in it, do you believe that those are true things that actually happened as they are written in the Bible? That the earth was made 6,500 years ago by an all-powerful, all-knowing omni-entity that, produced hell and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so you are a young Earth creationist.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, we did not know that. Why? All right. So the next question we suppose we would have to ask is, have you read the Bible from front to back, like any other book?
Yeah, I read Genesis, the Revelations, John.
No. We're not asking like what books from the Bible. Have you sat the Bible down in front of you, opened up the front cover to page 1, begun on Genesis 1:1, proceeded to Genesis 1:2, then on to Genesis 1:3, and like that, as you would read any other, like as if you were reading Harry Potter? Have you ever sat down and just read the Bible as though you were reading Harry Potter? Because, if you just hopped around in the chapters in Harry Potter, it wouldn't make any sense. Have you ever just read it like a normal book, the Bible?
If we're talking about like that, before I tried, it was a little bit too complicated. So I started at the New Testament.
So do you know the number one cited reason for Christians to leave the faith? Like, self-reported sources, like, this is the reason I left the faith. Do you know the number one reason in America?
Sure.
You do? Or...
No. I misheard you.
Okay, sorry.
I'm a clown. I misheard you. No,
you don't. So it is that they read the Bible cover to cover. Actually reading the Bible is the number one cited reason for people to leave Christianity. Is they actually sat down and opened it up and read it like Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings or whatever, like just from cover to cover. We have read the Bible twice. Sometime in the hopefully not too distant future, we'll be getting ourselves a brand new little monogrammed fancy Bible from the custombibles.com or whatever, and we're going to be reading it through, page by page on this channel that we'll be putting this video on. But we have read it. We have read it a couple times before. So that being said, we'd like to ask you: do you support slavery?
No.
No. Okay, great. Would you support any entity who endorses slavery?
No. Because I remember we talked about this before. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a catch-22.
It's not a catch-22. So we're sorry. We should have prefaced this. If we can find things in the Bible that you do not endorse or cannot accept or anything, would your faith in the Bible weaken?
Ooh, okay. I need to be quiet on that one because I have to be honest with myself. So give me a
Right,
second.
right, yeah, absolutely. Just take a second, or we could even simplify this. If we could show you that your God does things that you would never endorse, would you accept at least that he is not worth worshiping? We're not trying to ask you, to stop believing in him, but we would really hope that you wouldn't worship something that endorses things that you are very much against.
If I can give you a truly honest answer, I'm not sure.
That's That's an excellent answer. I don't know is an excellent answer, but we're still gonna walk into this. So, are you familiar with Leviticus? Huh? Oh, you okay? You okay there?
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, you okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
someone called me for a specific reason. Give me 1 moment. Jeez, I'm so professional. You can tell.
This is the first time we've ever done it. Don't worry, man.
Let's see. How can I? Oh, Discord, you and your updates.
It do be like that, dude. We've had an update boyo on our Discord for like a day now, and we're over here like, no, don't do it. Not right now, thank you. We're busy.
Oh, goodness gracious, help me. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna put on Do Not Disturb. Anyway,
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the question we asked was, if obviously you wouldn't worship something that was antithetical to your ideals. So if we could show you that the God of the Bible, the Abrahamic God, does things that are antithetical, then that's it. And you said you don't know, which is a great answer. That's a perfect answer. It's never the wrong answer to say I don't know. And so that's great. That's exactly what we want to hear. That's awesome. Good for you, man. But we are going to point to Leviticus 25:42-46. Now, are you familiar with Leviticus?
Yeah, it's like the priestly laws. Last time I remember.
And they are the priestly laws. That is correct. Do you what Bible do you use? Because we can look it up on whatever site you want, or whatever book, or are you just cool with any old Bible will do?
Yeah, hold on. Can you point me to the verse and all that? Or I mean the chapter and all that?
Leviticus 25:42-46.
25 and 46?
25:42-46.
42 to 46. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm here.
All right, now we can read it off for you. We don't know what version you're using. We generally speaking prefer to use the New Revised Standard Edition, because that's what they teach in seminaries. But we're gonna just we got a whole bunch of different versions here, so we're just gonna roll with it. So Leviticus 25:42-46 states, "Because the Israelites are my servants, whom I brought out of Egypt, they must not be sold as slaves. Do not rule over them ruthlessly, but fear your God. Your male and female slaves, which you may own, are to come from the nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make slaves of them for life. But you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly," which, when they say ruthlessly in this context, they are clearly talking about as slaves. So do you have anything to say about that? That's directly from the word of God itself. This is God telling the Israelites how they are to do slaves. It says you may buy slaves. So God is directly condoning the buying of slaves.
Okay. Give me 1 moment.
No problem. No problem. It's rough stuff to tackle here.
Yeah, because like I said, yeah. Like I said, the best way I could say is I just am not sure. I feel like there has to be a justifiable reason, but it's a priestly law. So
the justifiable reason is that slavery was very much okay under God's desires. Slavery and owning people as property is in the Ten Commandments.
But okay, what's it called? So, at least, mind you, this is not what the scripture says. This is just my own personal opinion. But however, I don't think it would hold up regardless. But I'm still gonna say it because I want to be honest. I feel like I would not feel. I can't. We can't use feelings in court. We have to say things.
No, yeah, go ahead. No, yeah. General noises of approval, Yeah.
So what I think is, when it comes to things like slavery, it was not well, blah, words. What I mean is, I don't think God intended slavery. Meaning, at least that's my own personal
Oh,
opinion.
really? You don't think God intended slavery? You don't. This is right
I
from
don't know the
God.
proper terminology, but I'm gonna just try.
This is right from God's mouth. You may buy slaves. They will be your property. You may bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them slaves for life. This is very specific. We do not know how you could misinterpret this. Your male and female slaves, which you may buy, are to come from the nations around you. From them, you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make slaves of them for life. But you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly. So if it's an Israelite, no slavery. God did not intend for Israelites to be slaves. He did intend for everybody else to be slaves. Are you an Israelite?
Gentile.
Then you may be a slave. According to God, Leviticus 25:42-46, you may be a slave. If you are not an Israelite, slavery is A-okay. And if you're not an Israelite man, Israelite women can become slaves. They are not even allowed to leave slavery. They can become slavery for life. And if you want to talk about, this is Old Testament or whatever, we got sorry news for you. But Paul said, slaves, obey your earthly masters with fear and respect and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Ephesians 6:5. So this is Old and New Testament are very much in agreement. Slavery is A-okay. God not only condones it, he commands it. And we can show you exactly where he commands it.
For Paul, I can defend that, not like the act, but the context, what he meant. But if we're talking about strictly in the the Old Testament, when it came to slavery, like I said, I'm not justifying it. Like I said, actually, no, I can't say anything because I wouldn't be completely honest. I would be very biased, so I can't actually. If I'm really being honest, I can't talk on it because I wouldn't be telling the truth, and I would not be being honest. And I'm very biased.
That's a responsible way of going about it. Thank you for that.
So, with all due respect, I can't answer it, and that's why I can't say anything on it since I would be biased.
Are you familiar with the 10th commandment?
I mean, I know the Ten Commandments. It's been a while since I've seen it. Can you remind me?
Are you familiar with the 10th commandment? Like number 10. Commandment number 10.
I forgot, but here, can you tell me? I'm gonna pull it up here.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thy neighbor's wife, nor his male slaves, nor his female slaves, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is his neighbor's property. That is saying a wife and slaves, servants, are a man's property. It's in the 10th commandment. Slavery is a thing, and women are property.
Wasn't it like a thing in the past for slavery to be a thing widespread?
Is it ever morally okay for to answer that question? Do you, Chris, the Farseer, find slavery acceptable under any circumstances?
No, but
So is God all good? In your opinion?
I
Hello? Hello?
no. I'm trying to
Okay.
say yes, and I didn't cut out.
Okay.
Because like I said, this is I feel like is a catch 42.
Well,
If I say
the Bible leaves people in a lot of those. So we don't blame you.
because because I would say if I say yes, it's like then how can you support a being that supports slavery, which I would.
Not only supports, commands. He commands it in some portions.
But then again, that's not. I'll be deflecting their mind. But
Remember, if God exists eternally, then he knew when he created the universe that this would happen before ever creating the universe. And he still chose to make the universe that way. He could have made it any other way. He could have snapped his fingers and made everybody in the universe get along without violating free will, because that is the definition of being all powerful.
yeah, yeah, and he could have not done it, but for whatever reason, he chose to do it.
And we say that that is because the character of God from the Bible is an evil, bad guy. That is why he didn't make a universe wherein everybody is happy and gets along. And our evidence for that are things like the fact that he condones and commands slavery. He has women raped for the crimes of their husbands. He kills children. He commands genocide. He condones the killing of virgins. He declares women as property. And he is blatantly anti-intellectual. Among many, many other horrible problems that make him really, really bad. For example, in Numbers 31, 32 to 35, he explicitly commands the taking of 32,000 girls into sex slavery as plunders and spoils of war after the killing of the Midianites. That is, however, only after we believe it's 1 in 200 of those women who have never slept into a man have been sacrificed to him by being caught on fire. We don't know about you, but we're really not cool worshiping anything that would do that.
Fair point.
Yeah. And we would, and part of the conversation we had, back a while ago, is we talked with you about if we could deconvert, like if we could say some special combination of words that definitely don't actually exist in real life, and it would instantly make you not believe in God. Like again, this is completely impossible. It's not how that works. But if we could do it, we asked you, would you still be a good person? And you said no. And we called you. We said, we don't believe you because we believe that you're already more moral than your God. And we think so far we've proven that. You don't believe that there is any moral instance that is acceptable for a human being to own another human being as property. You don't believe in that slavery is ever morally acceptable. So we already think you're better than your God, Chris. Like that's actually been extremely offensive to some Christians, but we already think yeah, sounds like you're just a cooler dude than the big G.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like most Christians would consider that like very big blasphemy more than anything.
Yeah, because they don't read the Bible. Because they've never just sat down and read the Bible cover to cover. If they did, they would understand that the God of the Bible throughout, from start to finish, for Old Testament and New, is really just the biggest, most genocidal, megalomaniacal narcissist that ever could be imagined. Pol Pot, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, all of their crimes pale in comparison to God.
And this is my question, and I don't want, this may deviate for a second. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry, we've been totally taking up the airspace here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, okay, I'm trying to make sure. Like, you can make the same argument for Islam and Hindu and all the other religions, but I can let you know. I'm trying to find the right wording, and
Sure.
so wasn't it like the church that fought more for human rights than anything, or
Nope. At every stage, the church has had to be pulled, kicking and screaming into progress at every stage. The Bible was used during the Civil War to keep black people in slavery, explicitly with a construct called the Slave Bible, where it was specifically emphasized all of the pro-slavery parts of the Bible. Whereas, of course, the Bible doesn't at any point ever say anything against slavery. So even though many abolitionists were Christians, they were abolitionists in spite of the Bible. They were early humanists, and that is why they wanted black people to be free. Nothing about God or the Bible says anything about how slavery is wrong. It indeed condones it at every step.
All right, then. Checkmate, you have me.
Well, it's we hope more than like us, winning here or whatever, because we don't really like winning. It's cool or whatever, but like we don't want you to leave. We don't want you to leave feeling defeated. It's just these are things that we believe. If you're going to say you're a Christian, you should know.
No, I don't care if I'm offended or bitter or whatever, because you're just telling me the truth about, and you're just giving me facts and results. It's like you don't have to like it. It's still the truth regardless.
Yeah.
So, but if you read, like I said, I can really just say ultimately, I'm not sure. But then again, if I keep saying I'm not sure, then it's kind of like I'm a bumbling idiot.
Well, then of course you end up realizing at some point that your beliefs aren't really founded on anything, and if they're going to be, then maybe you should do a little bit more exploring with your life.
More so, more or less, but
is stealing a sin?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Did Jesus ever commit a sin?
No.
Then why in Luke 19:28-34 does Jesus tell his disciples to go steal a donkey?
He didn't steal it. He couldn't go get one.
After Jesus had said this, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. As he approached Bethphage and Bethany at the hill called the Mountain of Olives, he sent two of his disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find a colt tied up there, which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you untying it?' say, 'The Lord needs it.'" Those who were sent ahead went and found it was just as he had told them. And as they were untying the colt, the owners asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They replied, "The Lord needs it."
It could be easily argued that he was borrowing it.
He did not return it anywhere in the scripture.
Because
it sounds like Jesus
as important.
It wasn't Jesus' horse. It wasn't his to take.
Donkey.
You're correct. It wasn't his to take. No. It actually said it was a colt.
Oh, colt. My bad. Then
it was a colt. Yeah, it was a young horse that has never been ridden, which at the time would have been quite valuable. We can tell you as a historian, a colt that had never been ridden at the time would have been quite valuable. Jesus told people to steal a horse. Is it okay?
Maybe it's my own interpretation, or maybe it's just me not being unlearned since I've been a Christian for 1 year. I would I was assuming it was just borrowed. It's like, hey, we'll give you it back.
No, he said the Lord needs it. He didn't say we'll give it back. They said the Lord needs it. It's his now. Why are you taking my horse? The Lord needs it. Did they ever say that he brought it back?
No, but maybe it wasn't a necessary detail.
We have only what the Bible tells us.
Well, you have to. Well, I'm assuming we have to read in between the lines.
Why? Is that how you read a normal book? You just write all sorts of things into it that you like because that would make it a better story to you?
I mean, it's just common sense to me. Just like, oh, he must have returned it back, or one way or the other.
But it never said that. Is it common sense if somebody takes a bike, like somebody's bike, and just runs off with it, and somebody's like, "Hey, why are you taking my bike?" And they're like, "I need it," and they just go off with it? Is it common sense to think that they're going to bring that back?
Okay.
It sounds like some bully just stealing your fucking horse, dude.
Okay, but
oh, sorry, it's not even I need it. It's not even I need it. It's my big brother needs it. The Lord needs it. My God needs it.
Then if let's say he did steal it, then that would be contradicting scripture where he said where he is sinless.
Well, but scripture contradicts itself a lot. One of the reasons we don't believe in the Bible is because it is a self-contradictory script. And you find that out if you read it cover to cover.
Okay.
For example, Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are not the same story. They're two contradictory stories of the creation of the earth.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Give me one moment.
Yeah, no
Just
problem,
one moment.
man. No problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not learned. I've been to no schools. Like, have you been doing it? I'm a Christian for 1 year. However, I'm just a bit overwhelmed.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. I just want to skip it because, like I said, I'm not sure.
So let's go back to more like science stuff. You said you were a young Earth creationist. That has a lot of baggage, like a lot of baggage. Are you willing to answer some questions on that, or take some education on that? Because we're science communicators, so we can address some things you might think about the world.
I mean, sure.
Sure. So, do you believe the Earth is flat?
It can't be flat.
But the Bible says it's flat.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
The earth is changed like clay under the seal, and it is dyed like a garment. Do you know what it means when it says clay under a seal?
Clay under a seal, okay.
Clay under a seal. Do you know what that means? Okay, so back in the day, people communicated on parchment scrolls, as you know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so those scrolls were rolled up, and things don't like being rolled up. They like to unroll. So what they used clay or wax, and they used a thing called a seal. And what they would do is they would drip this clay or this wax over the edge of the roll of parchment, and then they would press it down with this little metal thing called a seal, and it would have a little mark on it, and that would tell you who is sending it, because it would leave that mark on the clay. And what would happen is when you do that, you press the clay flat. So if the earth In Job 38:14, when God is bragging to Job about how fucking great he is and talking about how the universe was made, he talks about how he was there when the earth was pressed flat like clay under the seal and dyed like a garment, because God portrays himself in the creation of the earth as having dipped the parts of the world into, waters, the waters of the void and stuff like that, which dyed them different colors. And that's why, the trees are green, the sky is blue, and so on and so forth. It also specifically talks about how in that very same area, immediately thereafter in Job 38:15, we believe, or 16, it talks about how the sky is a giant crystal dome, hammered into place by God with windows to let in the snow and the water, which he stores in storehouses in the celestial realm. So the Bible very much is a flat earth text. God explicitly appears before Job bodily in the flesh and tells him how he created the world, and the world in his description is explicitly flat in every description of his words. It also exists on 5 pillars, by the way.
Cause I was assuming it was like words. That'd be nice.
No problem.
I was assuming that he was just using that as an example, like hey, like, I mean, dude, my mind.
You said it literally happened. You said earlier in this call that what happens in the Bible literally happened as it is written. The earth is 6.5 thousand years old. When God appeared on land, he appeared on land before people. What he said was what he said. It's not according to you, according to your belief, your flat earth belief that the Bible is literally true and everything in there literally happened. It can't be a metaphor. It has to be real.
But I feel like he was using that as a figure of speech. But maybe I'm just assuming.
And if he were just using it as a figure of speech, that would be cool. But then he says he hammered out the dome of the sky and stretched it over the world like a sheet. And then he talked about how he holds the snow and the rain in giant storehouses that he pours through the windows of the ceiling of the world. And he talks about how he hammers out lightning bolts physically with his hands. And that is what breaks Job and makes him get down on his hands and go, oh my God, oh, you're so fucking awesome, God. Oh, I'm so sorry to ever doubt you. When indeed the entire point of that story was that God was torturing Job on a bet. And when Job finally wavered, God popped up before him and waved his dick in Job's face and said, where were you? Were you there when I made the world, when I changed it like clay under the seal? Were you there when I hammered out the sky and put windows in it? Have you seen the snow-filled warehouses in heaven where I hold the snows for the winter fall? Have you seen the warehouses where I hammer out the lightning bolts that bring fear to you in the night? This doesn't seem like he's talking about metaphor. It sounds like he is listing off a display of his accomplishments to Job to scare him and make himself out to be superior to him. Which is really quite petty, isn't it? When after all this suffering that he's done to Job, after killing Job's family, destroying his flock, turning his friends against him, plaguing him with diseases, Job's been nothing but supportive. And the one time that Job finally is all like, oh my God, God, why are you doing this to me? Instead of answering him, Job comes down and he really waves it in his face. I mean, we can read the whole passage off to you if you like. It's not cool.
No, because it wasn't. Because in Job, wasn't it the devil who was doing that?
No, God did it. God did it. Satan just came and made a bet with God.
Pause. No, because the enemy was because God has his eyes on Job because before he was righteous and blameless, right? And so,
and then Satan came to God, walking and talking, and not crawling on his belly for all time, showing that the snake and Satan are not the same person. And then Satan came to God and said, Job only supports you because you have given him so many gifts. You've made his life amazing. You've made it beautiful. I bet if you took it all away from him, he wouldn't support you anymore. And God was like, I'll fucking take that bet. And he killed Job's family, and he destroyed Job's flock, and he destroyed Job's home, and he turned Job's friends against him. And then when Job finally broke, he came down and he delivered this giant diatribe about how shitty Job was and how great he was. Again, we can read the entire passage for you if you like. It is a disgusting story. And it doesn't matter because Satan has no agency. God is all-powerful and all-knowing. When he made the universe, before he made the universe, he knew ahead of time that Satan was going to come and challenge him. He knew ahead of time that Job was going to lose faith after he himself, God himself, tortured Job into breaking his faith.
it was not God.
Satan has no control over anything he does.
No, it is a choice. It was Satan who did it.
No. Go back. Is God all-knowing?
Yeah, he knew this would happen, but I'm saying, no, let me finish for a second. What I'm trying to say is, the enemy, the devil was the one who did all that. It didn't say God did it. It was the enemy, because again...
No, God did it. It said God did it. Satan just stood back and let God hurt Job. Satan just made a bet with God. That's all Satan did. Satan kills a grand total of like 11 people in the entire Bible. And Job's family, not one of them.
Let me look at that chapter.
Go ahead. Yeah, feel free. Go check it out. Go check it out. Satan just stood back and let it happen. He just made the bet. And again, you need to address this fact that Satan doesn't have any control. Nobody under the biblical model has any control. Not us, not you, not Satan, not Gabriel, not Job, not Adam, no one. None of them have any control. Free will is not mutually inclusive with the existence of your God. Nor does the Bible ever mention free will. So, we don't understand how this ever came in, except that it was, an after-the-fact addition.
Okay. I'm just trying to say this. I don't know how to defend it. I'm not a theologian or apologist.
Well, we're not asking you to defend it. We're asking you to acknowledge that it happened. But if you don't want to go there, we're just going to have to ask you: is God all powerful and is God all knowing?
Okay, I'm just a bit overwhelmed, and
it's cool. We really want to get to this question, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to dodge the question to the best of my ability.
Totally. It's a lot to go at, and as we said at the beginning, we're not trying to deconvert you in one go. Deconstruction is a journey for everybody. It was a journey for us, and whether or not you leave the faith, whether you go back to the faith, whatever, deconstruction is going to be a journey for you. It's always a journey for everybody. Feel free to take your time, man.
No, I know, but like I said, as a person, like I said, I was trying to avoid a emotional reaction because I was like, hey,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like saying, hey, this is a debate that we're talking logically here, and so.
And as we said, we'd like for it to be more of a conversation here, even if it's a little up,
Yeah. I'm just mentally overwhelmed. I'm just not sure. I feel more inclined because I guess it's just more emotionally charged, and I'm just more. What's the right word? I would rather say not angry but upset. But I would say, I would say yeah, upset. But that's what I'm saying, trying to say. Hey, look, maybe I just need a break or to cool off from it.
Yeah, totally, man. No, we get you. This is, as we've said before, this isn't a comfortable experience. Really deeply looking at your values and your beliefs and stuff like that is never a comfortable experience. It's not supposed to be. It's about, learning and growing and stuff like that. And we think one of our favorite things about talking to you so far is when we first met you, you had a drastically different perspective. You had a very different set of opinions, and we feel like in just a very short amount of time we've known you, you've changed those opinions around, like right in front of us. You've been all like, oh well, shit, I'm trying to be intellectually honest here, so I better turn myself around. And we're like, wow, that's really cool of you, man. So like, if you want to take you take a step back, take a breath, this is all really good stuff here. We've seen you like, not on this call, but like we've seen you in real time take input and correct yourself, and we think that's really admirable. Like, that's not like, oh yeah, you're growing up. No, that's like something we personally find admirable. Like, we're jealous of that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but
yeah, man.
Well, I think. Well, okay. Calm down. Chill.
Totally.
So I would say, I don't have a comment on it personally, and I guess I fear I don't have anything in this conversation to add intellectually.
So now we're gonna get to that. Allow us to take this step back. We feel like our energy's been very high here. So allow us to kind of lower the bar here a little bit and just return to the Steelman position here. God is all-powerful?
Yeah.
And God is all-knowing?
Yeah.
He knows the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe, every detail in it, and knew what was going to happen before he made the universe? Question mark.
Yeah, and I would say truly, especially... And I am saying this as a Christian and as a person, even I still struggle with trying to comprehend and understand it. Meaning, because I even say as a person, if he knew all these things were going to happen, wouldn't it be better if humans weren't born to begin with? And I still struggle with it. I don't have a clear answer.
I mean, we think we're going to... honestly, that is a remarkably profound realization that you actually just put out there. Unfortunately, we were not prepared for that, so we're going to pivot off to a different direction. We're so sorry. That's an actually amazing statement you just made there, and we just weren't ready for it.
My bad.
No, it's great. No, that was. We wouldn't have brought that up. That was all you, man. You just got something in your head, and it was real.
It's been on my mind forever.
If he already knows the movie cover to cover, and he's the only one who can enjoy it, yeah, why make the movie in the first place? Why make humans in the first place? No, that's an amazing thought that would have never come to our mind. But more importantly, if he knows the movie start to finish, is it possible for you, Chris the Farseer, to do something that he doesn't know you already did? You would do.
See, no, it would be impossible.
Because you're just an actor in the movie, right? Your position is already preset, right?
Yeah, preset. And
so when Satan comes to God in Job and makes that bet, he has no control, does he? Not really, because God's already decided that's his part. That's what he's gonna say. He can't say anything other than what God decided he would say before ever making the universe, right?
Yeah, I would, at least the way I understand it, and this is my own way,
that's just what all-powerful mean. That's just what the combination of all-powerful and all-knowing necessarily mean. That's how language works, it's... We're fortunate in that God's omni-properties are actually quite specific. It says in the book, there is nothing he does not know, there is nothing he cannot do. So we know like that's not doesn't leave much for interpretation, does it?
Yeah, more or less.
So it's then reasonable to say that even if Satan did kill Job's family, destroy Job's house, kill Job's flock, even if Satan did all of that, he didn't have a choice, did he? He's just playing his part. He's just God's puppet, right?
If you really look at it, then it kind of seems like it. If we really look at look at everything, you can make the same argument now. We can make the same argument now that even now, as things are playing out as we speak, we're probably puppets too in the grand scheme of things.
Right. Which means that God, if we are an atheist until the day we die, and then we go to hell because God is very explicit that the only sin that is unforgivable is not believing in him. If we go to hell, God knew when he made the universe, according to you, 6.5 thousand years ago, according to us, almost 14 billion years ago, God knew when he made the universe that PhilosoShy would be born one day, would grow up surrounded by spiritual experiences, by the dean of a Seventh-day Adventist private Christian university, surrounded by opportunities to become a Christian, raised as a pagan, so becoming a Christian would actually be even more meaningful. We would be pulled away from a false faith and into the true faith, but instead we became a pantheist minister. We embraced what of the Bible that we could. We were going to dedicate our life to the religious experience. We're a minister. That's why our channel is called Lord Reverend PhilosoShy, because we are a reverend. Like we took classes. We went and studied. We were gonna die with God's name on our lips, but instead, through research, through a diverse array of research, we came to the conclusion that religions of the world, the Abrahamic religions especially, but also included, seem to be, an amalgam of things that worked for the time, strongly developed by environment and culture, meaning that contrary to what our pagan New Age belief kind of that all religions are looking for the same thing, it's quite the opposite. All religions are drastically different and none of them really agree on much, and the things that they do agree on just appear to be like the core fundamental values of humanism, which requires no God. So, and we can explain how those would come up through evolution, which we suppose you don't believe in? Question mark?
Wasn't evolutionism or Darwinism that came from a Catholic priest? It was one of the two, or a monk. I forgot which one.
Well, evolution was the coin termed by Darwin, and Darwin was not Darwin was evidently an atheist. He wouldn't have called himself that. That was not allowed. But his parents were part of the free thinker movement, which was an early atheist movement as well, and that reputation actually followed him throughout his entire life. On R. Ra's channel, he has a documentary of Darwin's life wherein Darwin is actually confronted by one of his would-be rivals in the future of his life. And he says, "I heard that your parents were free thinkers. Are you also a free thinker, Mr. Darwin?" And Darwin quickly responded with, "Well, I'd like to refer to myself as a free drinker, really, as a means to break the tension." Because in actuality, while Darwin was not religious, he had a lot of religious friends. He had a series of health issues that a priest happened to help him through quite well. So he had a lot of connection to the church. He himself was just not a member of the church. And it doesn't matter if he was a Christian or a Catholic or whatever, because the discovery and development of the sciences really have nothing to do with the Bible.
Well, then, by that logic, especially if we read not just Christianity, not singling it out, I'm talking about like universally all the religions.
Sure,
yeah. Then 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 begs the question of, then would it be better to not be religious to begin with, and just move on with life, just don't care about spirituality and all that and mysticism?
Yeah. Well, if you, and of course, we said, yeah, we kind of jumped the gun there. Sorry. We would say yes. Of course, we are an atheist. We believe, and we've been told philosophically that we are a pragmatist. And we've been told actually by several people with degrees in philosophy far above our own. We don't have any degrees. That we actually are a perfect example of like the classic American pragmatist. If you tell us, if we ask, how does this car work? And you say, oh, I put gas into this engine, and then gas is aerosolized and sprayed into the ignition chamber, and then a spark of electricity goes off into the ignition chamber, and then green fairies fart all over the aerosol that has been sparked, and then it catches fire, and then that moves the pistons. Well, we're going to ask you, why are the green fairies necessary? If we take the green fairies out of this scenario, would it still work? And we are of the belief that all of the good things of religion that people traditionally think of as religion, the community, the feeling of spiritual enlightenment and connectivity, all of those things, the value of families, so on and so forth. All of those things we believe could be given from a non-spiritual perspective. Yes, we believe it is better that we don't start with religion at all.
Then if a world of, actually this is and actually we're just having a conversation, a dialogue.
Yeah. No, bring it up. Yeah,
this is not
throw it at us here, man. Let's go. Yeah, we're all about it. Let's go. In a world where both of our cars were underwater.
If there was a world of just pretty much, if I had to think about it, just it's like, hey, we don't believe God or whatever, I wonder what type of world would look like. That world would look like. I know it's not perfect, this world.
Well, we can look at cultures that contemporary cultures that don't have a belief in the cosmic or in any god or any creator or anything like that. They exist in reality. The Piraha are a native culture that when the modern world discovered them, had no concept of the divine. They had no concept of any cosmic. They just lived a life of standard utility. You get up in the morning, you say hello to your family, you lift your kid into the air, you kiss your wife on the face, you go out, you hunt a leopard, you come on back, you just live your life. That's pretty much how secular cultures in general live. We see a lot of secular cultures in like Scandinavia or whatever. Scandinavia is like consistently some of the most secular portion of the world or whatever, the least people who believe, with the fewest religious doctrines in their nation. And consistently, these nations are the happiest, the nations with the lowest violent crime rates, the largest welfare and highest quality of life, highest equality. If you want to talk about a society without religion, we have examples in the real world, and they're a lot better.
Well, that's very fascinating. I did not know about that.
Just think about it. Humans are social animals. We like living in communities. If we don't have regular contact with our fellow human beings, then we get kind of sad sometimes, if we don't contact them on a regular basis. So it only makes sense that since we get a little sad if we don't, have regular contact with our fellow species members, that we would want our fellow species members to also not be sad. Because, they can't make us not sad if they're too sad to make us not sad. So we might as well make them not sad. And that way we can all be not sad. Like it's looking at it through the perspective of evolutionary psychology actually really helps a lot. Because, there are... Oh, sorry, go on. We're babbling.
Oh, no. I was going to say, then by that logic, then I have to make a confession. I usually say, I always accuse, and I know we're just talking about religion, and I apologize for the deviation, because I know you mentioned before the video that I voted Trump. I'm a Republican. I made a confession saying, white wingers, oh yeah, they have their own echo chamber. But if I apply the exact same logic to my own self, especially when it comes to Christianity, in my own little answer hole, then I would be a hypocrite, meaning I didn't research things like that, or explore different religions, listen to different arguments. If it's one thing if you did your research, then say to that, that's fair. However, if you didn't even consider it, then I'd just be repeating the same mistakes of my I would say spiritual forefathers. I mean, like,
well, you'd be repeating the mistakes of your literal forefathers too, hypothetically,
True.
We mean, if believing in God is a mistake and you continue to do it, then you would be making the same as your literal forefathers, we suppose. But again, we're not really here to say that. It's just like, yeah, that's absolutely correct. You should always, and what's most important in our opinion is that the investigation never ends. You should never be happy with the results of your questions. You should never be sated in your intellectual pursuits for honesty and truth and reality. So maybe you believe that the evidence today is sufficient to believe what you believe, but you should always be open to the idea that tomorrow new evidence will arise that will be sufficient to let you not, for you to change your opinion.
That's a fair point, because for me, especially when it comes down to religion, I would love to wish to say, oh, it was for a theological or, smart reason. Where for me, I'm like, I like it because it makes me happy or make me feel stuff. Then again, you can make the same argument with drugs, but
and that's also where we have to, bring up the okay, tell us a thing that religion can give that cannot be given from entirely secular means, and we haven't found a believer who has yet provided that,
I mean, yeah, because society, I would say by that logic, and we're going by purely logical, society can definitely make something similar. Because maybe can I please have my words? That'd be pretty nice. I would argue that society can make something, but maybe it's because it's in a different institution. Maybe it's more spiritual, it's more intense. But that logic wouldn't hold up, saying, well, just because this car has a different color doesn't make it better, Technically.
Well, and we think one of the things that really gets us about Abrahamism, about the Bible and stuff like that, is that it is anti-intellectual. It does not want you to investigate. Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understandings. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Don't lean on your understanding. Don't trust your eyes. Don't trust your brain. Throw that away. Submit to the Lord, and he'll just guide you. We don't like that. We can't stick by that. And it seems like that's not what you want to do either. You want to follow logic. You want to be intellectually honest. If somebody brings evidence to you, you want to be like, oh shit, well, I guess I better change my shit around because I've just been proven right to my face that's not true. It seems maybe we're speaking for you here, but we would like to think it's a very flattering speaking for you. You appear to us to be that latter kind of guy, like whoa, wait, I'm gonna lean on my own understanding. I'm not gonna just submit to some guy because he tells me to. I'm gonna look this shit up. That's what you seem like to us. We think you'd like to accept that.
No, I would agree. I would agree with your assessment. I try to be a thinker. But I think I'm not. I would say I'm not intelligent, but I would say if I dare have a little bit of pride.
That's not
wise.
That's having a little bit of pride is not bad.
But
you want to know something? You want to know something that's gonna really make you shudder and shiver in fear?
Oh no!
Having lust is not bad. It's a good thing. It's okay. You can have it.
Spanish Inquisition. There's the heretic. He's the one that's spreading the truth and enlightening the people.
It's cool. You can just do it whenever you want, as long as it's safe and between consenting adults. You know. Oh man.
He's the one officer for making people think again.
Exactly. So oh man, we don't want to we're gonna disclaim here real quick. Okay, everybody, be fucking cool. Don't be a dick, okay? Like we're this guy is cool. We're trying to be nice here. Don't be an asshole. Don't come after Chris the Farseer, okay?
Joke's on you. Joke's on you to everyone that's listening. I'm already in your walls listening to every comment you're speaking.
Oh my god. Okay. So again, everybody, like seriously, be cool about this. We remember you told us that you voted for Trump based on trans issues, and you voted on Trump's side of trans issues based off of your religious beliefs. We could be wrong. Correct us on this. But
no, you're right. And
okay.
Sadly, for everyone that's watching, the reason what made me vote Twitter edits. That's it. Sadly. I didn't hear arguments. I didn't watch the whole thing. No, just Twitter.
All right. Well, you're being honest. You're over here like, nah, I was like all edgelord at the time. So, but we are gonna kind of wheedle at this here because we wanna see how deeply you think about your own personal motivations and agendas, because if you bring that up, if you're like, I voted for Trump because of trans issues and I am on his side of trans issues, and I'm on that side of trans issues because of my religion, we want to see where in your religion you think it says anything about transgender people.
Because the reason why I say, hey, I'm anti that is because
you're anti-trans?
Yeah, at least.
Okay.
I feel hesitant because I feel like I'm going to step on a landmine, but gotta speak the truth. At least, so in order so maybe I can be enlightened or be told, yeah, you're kind of cringe.
We hope we can. This one we do hope we turn you around on, like as fast as possible. We think we can, because we're part of the trans community. You seem to like understand our perspective a little, but we're curious. Where in the Bible does it say anything about trans people, transgender, anything like that, good or bad, positive, negative, anything at all?
At least for me, the reason why.
No. Sorry. We ask you a specific question. Where in the Bible does it anything mention anything about transgender?
Not the word, but the act.
So it doesn't say anything about transness at all.
No, it does say something. It's
Okay. Where does it say that? We're gonna have to ask you to bring up a specific quote here. What's the book? What's the verse? What's the chapter?
I can't. I'm gonna try to look for it, but again,
okay.
It's my fault for not being prepared. I was just very lazy on it, so that's my fault.
Well,
apologies,
so we'll move that forward because we can tell you authoritatively, because again, we've read the Bible twice through and we're going to be reading it a third time, cover to cover again real soon here. We've been studying this for several years. The Bible does not say anything about transgender anything. Good or bad, positive or negative, whether you should or shouldn't. The Hebrews did not have a concept for it in their culture. The concept did exist in the world at the time. The Egyptians had the concept, but the Hebrews did not have a concept for that in their culture, as far as we know. As far as modern scholarship goes, anybody in the comment section, please correct us. So when people talk about how they're anti-trans on religious lines, we have to wonder where you got that, because it sounds like it's just you being anti-trans to us, a member of the trans community. So we're gonna have to. Hope you don't mind. We're gonna interrogate you on that a little bit more here.
Oh no, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the letters from Paul saying, "Hey, I forgot. I think it was him saying, "Oh, it's not. Pretty much saying, isn't it weird for a woman to be? Actually, no. Dang, I did not come prepared, but I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we don't think Paul ever said anything. But also we really want to stress on this because we covered one of Paul's statements earlier. Do you remember what that statement was?
Yeah, something on slavery and all that, right?
It was on slavery. Ephesians 5 or Ephesians 6:5. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Now, you've already agreed that there is no morally acceptable incident for any amount of slavery under any circumstances, even if God does it. So we're wondering, why would you listen to this pro-slavery preacher in regards to anything having to do with morality, trans people alone, when he's over here talking about how slaves need to obey their masters? It already just seems like this guy isn't really a trustworthy figure to listen to about the mind and proper workings of other people.
The reason why I trusted Saint Paul the Apostle was it was due to the fact that at the time under the Roman Empire, where he was preaching and all that, it was due to the fact there was some believers that were slaves, and I think some of them were a part of the congregation. I'm not sure, because like I said, I'm not too well learned in the subject. But
Christianity was very common among Roman slaves. Yes, slavery was an institution in Rome.
And the reason why I assumed, at least that's why, at least the context, at least I'm assuming, based on my limited knowledge at the time, was to pretty much try to live a peaceful life, or one of the two. But I'm all over the place. My argument is not making no sense. But
well, as far as living a peaceful life, you know that slaves were regularly beaten and had their fingers chopped off for things as low as the suspicion of stealing something of their master. For example, it was both a part of Hebrew law and Roman law at the time that slaves suspected of hiding secrets should just be tortured as a matter of course first, because it would make them more honest. Now, we know this nowadays to not be true, and God would have known that at the time too, but he still encouraged that. He also condoned the beating of slaves by their masters, which is not a peaceful life.
Then I would just say that's the reason why I believed that stuff, given the context, is it was just that's what was told. Or at least that's the context I had, but not the wider context of the Roman Empire, honestly.
Context is important. So we're going to actually ask you something about trans people now. So with that in mind, that Paul is kind of not a morally justifiable individual, is there any reason to trust what he says about trans people, if indeed he said anything about trans people, which, again, you'll have to provide the specific verse, because, again, we've read it through a couple times. We don't specifically remember anything about that. We're fairly confident that the Bible says nothing about being a trans person at all. But more importantly, even if it did, even if Paul was saying something, man, Paul is talking about how slaves should, obey their masters with respect and fear. Man, we don't believe that anybody should obey anybody with fear. Do you? Like, that sounds fucked up.
True. Then
so we don't really trust what Paul says about trans people if he says anything, because he thinks that we should live in fear. And that's not a recipe for a peaceful life, is it?
True, but if we are trying to hammer on, hey, why don't you believe in the whole trans thing? And if I really think about it, I would just say my own upbringing, maybe not, I mean, sure there was a Christian influence, but it's kind of like I grew up with, say, oh, this is a male, this is a female. I'm not trying to be offensive.
Would you like to define a female for us? Oh, this is great. This is great. Would you like to define a female for us?
Pretty much the standard, how it said, a human individual with XY chromosome, I think, or XX, I think, I'm not sure, that has the capabilities of giving birth.
Okay. What about people with Swire's syndrome?
Not sure. I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so Swire's syndrome is a chromosomal condition where you are XY, that's the male, but you're completely female phenotypically. So you have a vagina, you have a uterus, you have ovaries, you have boobs. There have been instances of individuals with Swire syndrome having children and taking them to term. So are those not females? They don't have XX chromosomes.
No, that is a fair case, but the reason why I'm
Now, what about De La Chapelle syndrome? That's when somebody has XX chromosomes, but they have all of the male anatomy. Are those people female because they have XX chromosomes?
yeah, I can see where this gets complicated. Fair point.
And those are just two of over 30 different conditions that lead to this kind of thing. Now, if we put all of those intersex individuals together, that leads to about 1 to 1.2% of the population of the world, which is about the population of Russia. So we have one metric Russia, or an imperial Russia for all we care in this case, of people who do not fit your definition. What should we do about that?
First of all, my first thing is probably get fucking educated, nerd.
Well, that's great. That's a great idea. I absolutely agree with
because,
you.
like I said, a lot of my statements thus far, with all due respect,
Get educated, nerd. What a fucking great line, dude. We're gonna fucking use that. Can we use that in the future?
Go ahead. It's a free state.
Oh my god, thank you. That's great. Get educated, nerd.
Because, like I said, I'm not educated, so a lot of my statements are probably 90% of the time it's going to be false. Because again, it's like saying, "Hey, I know how to operate a car," even though I have not read the fucking manual. And so that's why my opinions. Because again, you can say, yeah, average Twitter behavior, but again, I admit I do it, even if I don't mean to. Yeah. So
you mentioned at one point you read Revelation, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about all atheists being damned no matter how good they are, as covered in Revelation?
Technically, as it's written, at least what it says in interpretation by the church fathers and
Oh no, this isn't interpretation. It's very explicit. Revelation 21:8. Have you ever read it?
pretty much that, like, all these people or individuals who do such things are going to go to hell. Yeah.
And what is that list of individuals? Could you list that off for us?
Here,
we can list that off for you if you want. We've got it right here if you want.
Revelation what and what verse?
21:8. Again, we can read it if you want.
Here, I got it now. Okay.
Okay. Great.
And the one I'm using, the version is CSB. But the cowards.
Okay, sure, great.
The faithless, detestable, murderers, sexual immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, all liars. There shall be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death.
Great, absolutely. And you'll notice that the faithless was there, right?
Yeah.
So we're an atheist. We're part of the faithless, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that we should be punished, given the same punishment as murderers, just for being an atheist?
I would.
That we should burn in a lake of fire and sulfur?
In my personal opinion, okay. If I really want to say from a human point of view and not Christian me, but as a human being,
yeah,
I would say I would
like real. Let's be real here, logically.
Yeah, like if I would say human me, I would say that's not fair.
No, because we've never murdered anybody in our life. We don't want to murder anybody in our life. That's just not our bag, baby. Like, it's not our bag. And what about the sexually immoral? We know somebody who really likes sex. She really likes sex a lot. She likes having sex with multiple different people. She's not looking for any long-term marriage type thing. She's not looking to start a family. She just really wants to live her life and continue with her career and be a good member of her community, but she really likes sex. She doesn't lie, she doesn't steal, she doesn't hurt people. She's actually really nice. She cooks for people, she cleans for people, she sets up community events and all that kind of stuff. She really is into sex. She's very sexually motivated. Does she deserve to be burned forever in fire and sulfur, which is the second death, alongside the murderers?
If I have to separate myself from the human side versus, Mr. Christianity side of me, I would say I would question it. But then again, when it comes to like the sexual part of stuff, yeah, I would agree. Like, I struggle with that stuff too. But
what about Krishna? Do you think that somebody should go to hell and be tortured eternally by God forever because they prayed to a statue of Krishna? That's the idolaters.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not fasted yet. Whoopsie. No.
Oh no! Right. Right.
I'll be like, I said, whoopsie, my bad. But I would say, human me, I'd be like, actually, no. I feel like human me, if I had to remove all the faithful stuff and purely looking at the logical stuff, I would say, if they did bad things, then yeah, they deserve it. If they didn't do anything,
no. We're just talking. This is their only crime. They were a good person their entire life. Their only crime, according to Revelation 21:8, is that they are an idolater. They, instead of praying to God, they have spent their entire life praying to statues of Hindu gods instead of the Abrahamic God.
Then
are they as bad as murderers?
If we're using that caveat, no one's truly fully good, maybe by human standards, but we're talking about in this context, they're very good, but they did that one thing. Then yeah, just
like our friend who loves sex, except that instead of loving sex, they love Krishna.
Yeah, I would be like, I'll question it, but yeah, if they read all of that,
that's totally fine. Okay, and now we're gonna lay it here. We're gonna put Revelation 21:8 to bed. Not to like declare victory preemptively or whatever, but we're calling this one. Okay, this is gonna be really hard to like listen to. Trigger warning for people in the audience. Some motherfucker breaks into a mall and starts killing people. He's shooting everybody that gets in his way. Nobody can stop him. Somebody is behind him. They see that there is an opening. They might be the only one that can tackle him to the ground, but they worry. They're terrified that if they do it, he'll see them at the last moment, and then he'll get shot dead. So they don't. They do what people would consider cowardice, and in the presence of a murderer, in that moment, we always tell ourselves we're going to do it, but in the moment, he just can't do it. His cowardice wins over, and instead of running and tackling this motherfucking gun wielder to the ground in the mall from behind, he hides behind a potted plant and cowers. Does he deserve to go to the same place as that murderer?
I mean, if I'm forced to say yes or no, like given the context, and I was using the context of he's fully good, right?
This is according to Revelation 21:8. This is his only crime. He's a good, believing Christian. He's a figure of his community. He has done nothing detestable. He has only had sex with one woman on the night of their wedding. He has never taken part in sorcery. He is a proper iconoclast. He has never even prayed to a fucking cross because that's idolatry. He, for whatever reason, has never lied in his entire life. The only crime in this situation that he has is that in a moment where he needed to be brave, where somebody was going around killing people, he hid and cowered behind a potted plant. According to Revelation 21:8, he is just as bad as the murderer he did not tackle to the ground. He goes to the same place. The lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death, with gnashing teeth and burning fires for torture eternal.
I mean, if we're using this context, then if he's all bad, did he repent?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does
doesn't
matter
say
because if he didn't repent,
it.
then
No,
then he's gonna go there regardless.
and he deserves to go there if he didn't repent. Well, that just comes back to the faithless. We're faithless. Do we deserve to? We've never done anything bad to our community that we know of. If we do, oh my God, we're so sorry. We'll try to make up for it immediately. We don't lie. We don't pray to idols. We don't cast magical spells. We might be a little sexually immoral, but again, is that deserving to go burn for eternity with the right next to the murderers? No, of fucking course not. And it's not. And we've never repented. We're never going to repent. Never going to repent. We're never going to worship your God. And he knew that before he made the universe. So him knowing that, him making us to never repent. We can't do anything that he hasn't already decided that we do. We covered that earlier. So that cowering behind the potted plant, also was doing exactly what God told him to do. He's only following his script. So why is he going to burn with the same murderer that's shooting up the mall that he's in, that he's too cowardly to tackle to the ground? Is that not fucked up?
From a human point of view, yeah, at least my human side, I would say that's fucked up.
And so our real question, you keep saying from a human side and stuff like that.
Because
so we're really gonna
context. The reason I say human,
yeah, no, sure.
When I keep saying human or Christian side, I'm trying to say, hey, if I'm removing the faith filter of it. I mean, I'm removing the filter. I'm saying from my own rationalist point of view, I would say that. I'm sorry.
Well, no, actually, that's great. That's actually great that you just said that, because it really puts into perspective exactly what we're talking about. You have to look at things from two different perspectives to be intellectually honest. You have your anti-intellectual Christian view, where we say, this guy cowered behind it. Does he deserve to go to the hell with the murderer that he was too cowardly to tackle? And you didn't say yes or no. You said, well, did he repent?
Yeah.
That's if you have to ask us, that's fucked up. And that's what Forrest Valkai calls an everlasting thought stopper. It wasn't an answer to our question. It was something to soothe your ego over your God. Well, if he repented, yeah. If he didn't repent, as you said, he's going to go to hell anyway. And then we have to put your Christian mindset down. We have to put it to the side, because we have to ask him, well, is that okay? Is it okay that just because he didn't believe, he didn't repent, he goes to the same place as a murderer to be tortured eternally by God, next to the murderer who was who might have killed him? And then you said, well, if I take my Christian mindset, if I look at it from a human perspective, yes, that's fucked up. And now, with us bringing that up, can you see why we prefer humanism over religion?
By that train of thought, yeah, I can understand it. I can truly see and understand that why you think that way.
And do you understand that because of those words, not only would we think that way, which you've established you understand why we would think that way, but do you understand why we would never want to be a Christian if that's all the stuff it says? Like, women are property, people deserve to burn forever just for being cowardly or faithless or sexually immoral, loyal alongside all the murderers and all that kind of stuff. If you believe, then you're fine. If you don't, then you're damned. You should respect, if you're a slave, you should respect your master. You shouldn't try to get rid of slavery. Those kind of things are all stuff that's explicitly stated in the Bible. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Women in the biblical worldview are your property, as of the 10th commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, his slaves, his ox, his donkey, or any of his property. Women are property. For true, and remember, if you say, Jesus changed that, for truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, will by any means disappear from the law, that being the law of Moses, until everything is accomplished. this is all really, lean not on your own understanding and always submit to him. Don't question God, submit to him. Don't listen to your brain. Don't listen to the human in you. Listen to the Christian. If you listen to the human in you, you would come to the conclusion that all this shit's really fucked up. That slavery isn't okay, that women should be treated equally, that people should be treated well, that people who are not Christians should not be dragged before the church and killed in front of them. Luke 19:27, Jesus' words himself, "But those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me." Is that the kind of guy you think is all good?
It's complicated, for me, at least.
It's very complicated. It seems extremely complicated. And a lot of the time that we brought stuff up, you've said you don't know. You didn't know that the Bible says that the earth is flat. You think that the earth is 6,500 years old, but do you think that the biblical flood happened?
Because if we're going by what I said, then yeah, if I said I believe everything, then yeah, of course I would believe that happened.
How's that work genetically? Like, how's that work for genetics?
How does that work for genetics?
Yeah, because there were only 8 people on the ark. There was Noah and his wife and his 3 sons and their wives, right?
Fair argument, yeah.
We're not even dealing.
No, because technically, I don't want to go off topic, but I was trying to point out that was a hard thing I had to think about, especially when we think about the whole thing with Adam and Eve, kind of saying, yeah, but then technically,
and then after Adam and Eve, there was Cain and Abel, and then Cain killed Abel.
Because technically speaking,
well, no, slow down. You hear what we said? What did we just say?
Yeah, it was Cain and Abel.
And then Cain killed Abel, right?
Yeah.
And then where did Cain go?
I think he went. He is exiled, I think.
Yeah. And where did he go in exile?
I forgot the city.
He went to the land of Nod, where he married a blacksmith's daughter. Where the fuck did all those people come from if Adam and Eve were the first people on Earth?
I do not know.
There was already, apparently, when Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, there were already people with cities and making blacksmiths and their daughters and shit like that. We know because Cain went off and married one. So evidently the Bible isn't even true in and of itself. That's what we talk about, how it's a self-contradictory story. When Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, there were people who were already there. How are they the first people on Earth if there were already people out? If everybody is descended from Adam and Eve, who the fuck are the people of Nod?
I don't know. I can't say. I was gonna say, oh, maybe it's this, but then it's not written, but it's just my own assumption. But
and in order to make the Bible make sense, you have to add things that aren't in the Bible,
or at least assume or read in between the lines. Technically,
which is of course why we have things like free will, which are mutually exclusive to the existence of the Abrahamic God. If an all-knowing, all-powerful God who has a plan and knows the universe from start to finish exists, free will cannot exist in that same universe. It's all just a movie, man.
It's the Matrix. I hate to break it to you, but yeah,
it's all just a movie. It's all a script. At least in the Matrix, people can get out of the Matrix. You can't get out of God's universe.
Yeah, this conversation has been going on for an hour. Ooh, boy.
Has it? Fuck,
yeah,
dude, have we really been going?
Yeah, I just looked like it.
It's been going on for almost 2 hours, God.
We've been yapping.
Well, that's good. Yeah, so, like, we really can't stress enough, Chris. Let's kind of start putting a cap on it, because you're right. Wow, we got going, didn't we? So all we're saying is that, like, you can believe in God. You can believe, but we really can't stress enough. If you're gonna say you believe in it, man, please know what you're stressing out here, because while we don't judge people for believing in, the any god, we're an atheist, but we are an anti-biblical, we're an anti-Abrahamic, and we legitimately believe that, we know that if you followed all of the laws of the Bible, you would be a criminal in any country. We just know that to be true. That's just how the Bible is written out versus the laws of today. But we really want to stress to you that in this conversation, you even admitted it, you had to put your Christian brain aside for a lot of things. And you had to think about it from a humanist perspective. And when you think about it from a humanist perspective, logically, it all just lines up. Really, you understand other people and what their thoughts might be. You understand fairness and justness and how the punishment should fit the crime. We didn't even get into how God explicitly orders gang rape against somebody's wives for that somebody else's crimes. So, and if we told you about that, you'd be like, no, that's fucked up. That's not just. That's not fair. That's not cool. And so, like, all of these things, if you think about it from a human perspective, as you say, you will come to the conclusion that that's not cool. So is it possible that it's something about the Christian perspective that might encourage people, not necessarily you, because clearly you can put that aside, but it could encourage other people who are less intellectually honest and have less self-discipline to do absolutely horrible, heinous things, because the Christian mind will tell you to do those things if the human mind cannot step in and stop you? Can we agree maybe there's something to be said for that?
I would say I would say possibly, because I can't say a hard yes or no, because I'll be speaking for everyone, but if we really look at history, there's a good possibility of both. I mean, some people did, most likely, some people didn't.
All right, so that's absolutely true, probably.
Yeah, because
hear me
out on that, because if we really run with that logic, then technically there has been someone who probably has done it before, and it's someone who probably didn't.
So we're gonna leave you with this kind of. It's not one of those things that we really want like a statement from you on or whatever. Just, think about this and really go, like, research it up, after this call or whatever. And of course, we love it, after you do that, we love to talk to you more about this, because this is, again, we've been talking for a while. This is great. The question we've got is, we really want you to think about how many conflicts, how many wars, how many international strife, how much bigotry has been done over the course of history in the name of a god. Your god, other gods, doesn't matter.
To be fair, hold on.
Versus,
I don't want to limit it to gods, but we are.
Well, no, slow down. Let us finish this, please, please. How much harm has been done in the name of, like, motivated by a god or some religion, versus how much harm has been done in history in the name of not being convinced of a god, which is what atheism is. It's not the assertion that there is no god. We're just not convinced that there's a god. If some god popped up in front of us and gave us all of that information, oh yeah, sure, we'd come around to it or whatever. But, like, how many people have started wars in the name of not believing in a god? We're sure you will find it is a lot less than the amount of harm that has been caused over gods and religion.
Yeah, I probably need to research it, because, again, for context, I'm very
please.
Again, I'm very lazy, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm the type of person that would say, "Oh, I'll look it up," but never do. So fair point. I'd rather be given a heads up. But
Well, and we'd really like to talk about this again after you do a little bit more thinking on it, of course, because as we said, you seem really intellectually honest. You seem very inclined to think. This is very much a deconstruction. It's very much an adventure, and we're happy to see you stepping on to it. You know?
I mean, yeah. After all, you gotta love the truth, or be, stupid. I know.
Well, we on that note, we think the big thing that we always like to say on this channel is you gotta lie to science deny. And if you're not lying, you'll come around real fast. If you are lying, you'll stay in your position. We don't think that you're gonna be lying. So we look very much look forward to seeing you again on this channel. Thanks again so much for coming, Chris. Anything you want to say before you go?
It's been a pleasure being on here for everyone that's listening and saw me get absolutely hammered. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pulling their leg. Pardon me there. Be sure to support the channels he does. They do. Sorry, I did it again. By accident. They do. And support and show love because this was very fun for me. Was it hard? Yeah. Did it? And I need to confront some of these things, more or less. But still, try to support, share, and hopefully, I pray this conversation helped someone, or maybe brought some interesting food for thought, even for those who were listening. And yeah, that's my final comments.
Thanks, dog. That's actually really sweet over here to using your time to tell people to follow our channel. That's fucking cool. If you do you. We might put his we don't know if he's got any stuff, but man, if he's got something, we'll put it in the description. You guys should go follow him too if he's following.
Oh no, I'm just a hermit I'm just a hermit
Okay.
under their I'm just home. They just don't know yet. I'm been eating their cheese balls.
All right. Well, thank you, man. This has been real fun. We like this. Let's talk again sometime. You stay safe.
Okay. Bye.